Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Premium DNA Battletoads PORKA Pig. And it's one of the henchmen type villains, one of the goons, one of the mobs for the Battletoads. Comes in a lot cheaper than the big guys, but it's a lot smaller. Still comes in at a pretty hefty price point. I guess technically, based on the fact that it's all new sculpting and has paint on it and stuff, it's worth it. But you'll see by the end of the video if you think it is for you. Pretty good though, overall. Some good stuff, some bad stuff. We're going to talk about it. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Really quick before we get into the figure, let's take a quick look at my package. The front is a nice window display with the name. Big window for the figure. No light getting in here, but they look pretty good still. Then you have the group shot there where these guys look way smaller than they should. I'm guessing this guy looks bigger than he should, but we'll see. I haven't reviewed him yet. Figure on the back, that's all right, and then some sprites back there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. He stands just about 17 centimeters to the top of his horns. That's going to make him roughly, and we'll call it 6 5/8 inches. Here he is up against a Darwin. I'd say they're about the same size. I mean, Darwin's a little bit shorter if you count the horns, but that's okay. And then here he is up against one of the Battletoads. Seems reasonable enough. Okay, so let's do a quick question of the day. Are you going to army build something like this? Because you fight lots of these guys, and I know they have a couple different color schemes released, or maybe they're not out yet, the other color schemes. I don't know, but are you going to army build this? I'm thinking about getting one of each color just because they look cool, and I like the uniqueness of the designs. But that's it. I never army build. I'll get one of each thing at most. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetic. I love the finish. It's nice, matte to flat finish just about everywhere. Slightly metallic up there. Glossy a little bit for the mouth. It looks really nice. There's dry brushing on the hands and feet. The hands are slightly shinier and smoother feeling than the feet. So whatever gray they dry brushed on here kind of dulled this down, but still looks okay. The metallics are nice. One thing I noticed, I might have to get a replacement. I only have paint on one of the horns as far as the wash or whatever that is. That recessed, the little tan lines, I'm missing that on one. So hopefully that's not a common issue. But otherwise the face looks good. I'd say it'd be nicer if the paint was better around the eyes. That might just be mine. It might be all of them. It's not super obvious, but it definitely would look better without that. And then the tusks have the same grooves as up here, but they don't have the paint, so I don't know. I mean, it definitely could be better, but it looks all right. My teeth aren't lined up. Hey, I'm going to try to get this one replaced. It's got a few issues that I don't care for. I love the sculpt for the body, though. It looks muscular and fat at the same time, and I think that's exactly what they were going for, and they nailed it. The sculpt mixed with that flat paint looks wonderful. It's very good. The big pec muscles help sell it, but then it's not super ripped. I love it. It looks really, really good. Wrinkling on the clothes, I think this looks wonderful from a sculpting perspective. I like their sculpture style. Alright, I'm just getting ready to do articulation. So, for the aesthetic, mine has some flaws. If they all have those flaws, that sucks. I'm going to knock it down to a 7. Assuming they don't, easily an 8. It looks really good. I'd like to see a little bit of shading on the skin, just because the Battletoads have it in some places, and he doesn't have any shading as far as I can tell other than on the teeth. Tusks. Maybe I'm missing it, but he's got the shading there, and then like the dry brushing here and there. It still looks good, but it could have a little more. Alright, for accessories, 0. 0 out of 10. No accessories included. Nothing. He is just a goon, so that's alright. Alright, so for the articulation, his head is surprisingly well articulated on a big double ball peg. He can look down, he can look up. Not a ton, but not bad, considering his porcine nature. A little bit of lean side to side, not much. You do get the rotation. And it works well. Because of the double ball peg, you're not stuck rotating it at a weird angle. You can pretty much do what you want with it other than what the sculpt is not going to allow. So as far as they could have done it properly, they did. I like it. For the shoulders, you get your full rotation. Standard ball hinge. Should be fine. Yeah, no looseness or anything, so that's good up to horizontal. Bicep swivel is fine. No problem there. Single jointed elbow. You're going to get just less than 90 degrees. You get a little bit more rotation down there. Not that you're really going to need it, but you have it. And then the wrists have a swivel, and I can't get the hinges to work on either of the hands. They're stuck. Not that it's a huge deal, because you have nothing for him to do with them, but mine doesn't work. For his torso joint, I don't know how much he's supposed to lean. He seems to lean forward a little bit. Not that it's going to be super helpful in there, but he does lean forward underneath the spandex outfit. Leaning side to side, again, there's a little bit, not a ton. You do get rotation though, so that might help with posing. So yeah, it's a little bit limited, but it's probably better than breaking up this. Since this guy's a background character, it's better for him to look good than to be able to pose really well. I'm guessing that's what they were going for, so that's okay. And then for the hips, big ball sockets in there, but you're not really doing much. Like, they could have easily cut away a little bit more, I think, to give you some more range. Those hips don't do too much. They're not super loose or anything, but there's just not much range. Then the knees are just swivel hinges. I can't get the knees to function. They're stuck on mine. They do rotate, and they look like they would have plenty of range, but since you can't move the hips, it's not really going to matter. And then lastly, we have the ankle joint, which is also very tight. It goes back at least that far. Let's try it on this one. Yeah, it goes back about that far. And then it goes forward. That's it. It looks like it should go farther, but I can't get them to go any farther than that. So that is not good. And there is a little bit of scratching here. There's an ankle rocker built in, so that's helpful a little bit for some adjustments to get him at least flat on the shelf. And that's it. His tail is just a fixed piece. So articulation, not great. I'll go 5 out of 10. You can pose the arms okay. The torso has some. The neck is good. The rest is just enough to get him to stand there. He's not going to be posing very much at all, which is unfortunate. I'd like to be able to at least make him run or something. I don't care. It's a background character. He just needs to look good, and he does look good. But mine has too many flaws, so I'm going to try to get this replaced. But, it's okay. All right, so final verdict. I love the sculpt. The sculpt is fantastic. The finish is nice. Assuming your paints aren't messed up, the paints are good enough. I'm going to give it a 7. Articulation blows and no accessories. It's understandable for a background character, is my justification. But the finish, it just looks so good. Like, I don't have an affinity for pigs wearing spandex and helmets and Viking helmets, but it's a damn good looking figure. It doesn't take that much. That's the thing I always say about Hasbro is, like, stop making your figures look like shiny, cheap plastic. That'll help. It'll go a long way. This guy has no shading, but his skin tone looks so much better. 1, it's a good sculpt, and 2, it's a matte finish. That's all it takes in a lot of cases. So yeah, he gets a little bit of a bonus point for that. I do like the way they did his snout too. Didn't mention that yet, but the little speckles, I like it. So yeah, it's not the best thing in the world, but I like it enough. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it for me, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos every day but Wednesday, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.